Well, moving on to the next game, you did have the midweek game, of course, where you changed a lot of your players. You were, giving valuable breaks to players that you thought needed that rest, having had a hectic opening 2 months to the season. That again, hopefully, will now benefit those players and the team.
Yeah, I thought it was a benefit for both. A benefit for certain individuals that needed a rest, that have played a lot of minutes. A couple of the lads have played nearly every minute of every game so far, so it's important they got a bit of a break. It was also important that people who haven't played much game time got an opportunity on the pitch. And it was a good opportunity to chuck a couple of the younger lads in to see how they cope in the game. Allows us to find out a little bit more about them. So it was good all round.
That's a big part for them, isn't it, when they get opportunities at first team level, for all the management team, and the supporters to look at where they actually are in their careers.
Yeah, that's the next step for them. The lads have been doing well for the under-18s. They've played a few games for the 21s and performed well. So it was a good opportunity to see what they're like at that next step. And I thought all three of them handled themselves really well. Just
looking at what happened earlier this week as well, the manager got nominated for being on the shortlist for the Manager of the Month award, and I think whatever happens, it just shows the progress that you've been making from a good start at the beginning of the season to where you are today.
Yeah, and it comes from the players, how the players have been performing. It obviously reflects really well, but ultimately it comes down to what they're doing on the pitch. And they've been doing a lot of good things so far, so may that continue.
That sort of working together, though, is great, isn't it? The management are setting up the training setups and the tactics on match days, and the players are taking it on board.
Yeah, we always go into every game with a plan, watch the opposition and see how we can gain advantages within the game. But ultimately, it's about your players on the pitch, and our players have been performing really well in most of our games so far, which is why we've got off to a terrific start.
Can we just look at the treatment room before we look into Tranmere coming up at the weekend? A couple of players that come to light are people wanting to know how they're going on. Of course, Chris Long and Connor Thomas.
Yeah, so Chris Long's back training today. Chris Long will be available for Saturday. As long as he obviously has no setbacks tomorrow within training, but he's trained all training today, got through it fine, no issues. Hopefully that'll be the same tomorrow, so he's in contention for Saturday. Connor Thomas is back out on the grass, but he's still yet to be back integrated with the group, so he's probably still going to be a couple of weeks.
Charlie Colquitt got over that 90-minute mark in the week as well. How close is he now to being in your thoughts of the first team match day squad for the first time in the league for a long time?
Yeah, it was a good challenge for Charlie to get through the 90 minutes, see how he came through that. But then also, was he in a position where he can then train, which was today. He trained today, got through training today, so his body's withstood that. Which is good, so he's just getting closer and closer and putting himself into contention.
You're going into the game, unfortunately, without two players, so it's great for them that they've been picked and selected for their countries, Conor O'Riordan and Mattis Holacek, but opportunity awaits for whoever you may decide to change their names with to Saturday's team sheet.
Yeah, terrific for Conor and Mattis. Conor in particular has been excellent for us since he come into the team. Obviously missed the first couple of games of the season, but then since he's come back into the team, he's been terrific. Mattis has been a bit part, but when he's been in and around and involved, he's been terrific as well. But their opportunity, obviously they're not here this weekend, it gives an opportunity for somebody else to step in.
Tranmere not had the best of starts. Experienced managers come in, they've actually changed the manager this season. What are you expecting?
A tough game. They've picked up in terms of the last few results. They've changed the way that they're playing in terms of their system, and he's got them organised. He's got them on the front foot. They're a lot more aggressive with their play from the games that we've watched. So we're expecting a good test, but we want to continue the form that we've had at home since the start of the season. and hopefully we can get on the front foot and come out with a positive result.
Yeah, defeat last week in the league was the setback, as you said. You move on. The next game is Tranmere. Any sign of a team that's going to be right up there will have setbacks, but it's all about bouncing back and getting that right application from your players. That's what you'll be after.
Yeah, that's the key. You're gonna lose games of football, but it's how you respond from losing them games of football. What you don't want to do is lose back-to-back games. It's important that we bounce back on Saturday and get 3 points to keep us right up there.
Just a general view of how the league is looking. It looks as though it's now formulating to becoming a very competitive league, doesn't it? A very competitive division. I think it's Harrogate 15th or 16th, 4 points off you, and you're only 4 points off the top.
Yeah, there's not a lot between 10-12 teams within the league, which is why it's really important that you prepare and you perform week in, week out, because if you don't, you're going to find yourself dropping down that table. So it's important that we bounce back on Saturday, positive result, keeps us right up there.